Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. B&B spoilers. Who is Electra Forrester hiding from? The bold and the beautiful viewers have been speculating for a few weeks now that Electra Forrester, Linnea Grace, is hiding something on the CBS soap. Some fans even compared her to Looney Luna. It turns out Electra Forrester is in fact hiding something, but it's not what you think. Keep reading for all the details. Here's what's coming up next on B&B. Electra Forrester arrived in Los Angeles last month with her Aunt Ivy Forrester, Ashley Brewer. We don't know a lot about the young Forrester, except for her father is Eric Forrester's, John McCook, brother. According to B&B spoilers, we will learn a whole lot more about the Forrester youngster next week. The bold and the beautiful comings and goings tease there's a mystery man lurking in Los Angeles, and it looks like he followed Electra and Ivy all the way from Australia. Next week's B&B promo shows a creepy teen sitting in a dark room in front of a computer, with the walls plastered with photos of Electra. Meanwhile, at Forrester Creations, Electra and Will Spencer Jr., cross Morrow, will continue flirting and sparks will fly. Little does Will Spencer know, he's not the only one who has his eye on Ivy Forrester's niece. Dollar Bill's son is about to get some dangerous competition. It's unclear if Electra's stalker is an ex or just a random psychopath. Regardless, he looks like he means business and things are definitely going to get interesting next week. According to B&B spoilers, the part of Remy Price will be played by another new up-and-coming young star, Christian Weisman. You might recognize Weisman from shows like Saved by the Bell, the 2020 reboot, and Dear White People. He also is a published writer and poet, and well-known in the LGBT community. When Electra Forrester showed up in Los Angeles, she brought a mysterious aura and a powerful energy that left the Forresters, Logans, and Spencers buzzing. A stunning young woman with the Forrester grace and charm, Electra was unmistakably of Forrester lineage, but her past remained shrouded in secrecy. As she tried to establish herself in the world of fashion, whispers of a hidden past, a dark secret, and someone she was hiding from began to ripple through her new life in LA. A shadowy figure from the past. Electra's arrival seemed like a stroke of luck for her uncle, Eric Forrester, who had long wished for a fresh perspective in Forrester Creations. She was brilliant, fierce, and had an eye for trend-setting fashion. But her occasional disappearances and skittish behavior raised suspicions among those closest to her. Ridge, always protective of his family, noticed her tendency to glance over her shoulder and wince at unexpected sounds. He suspected there was more to his niece than she was letting on. Meanwhile, Steffi, who took a liking to Electra, tried to pry into her past. She had a gut feeling that her cousin wasn't just here to follow her passion for fashion, but to escape something or someone. Electra was evasive, skillfully diverting conversations or laughing off questions, but her eyes would betray a flicker of unease. It wasn't long before Steffi began to dig, uncovering Electra's secret life. Steffi enlisted her husband, Finn, to see if he could discreetly pull up any history on Electra beyond her resume. Finn discovered some troubling details that made him hesitate to share with Steffi. Electra had a history that involved shady connections, and more worryingly, a certain dangerous man named Nikolay Petrova. Nikolay was known in the underground world as a cunning businessman with ties to illegal trades, and it turned out that Electra had been involved with him in her early 20s. Finn couldn't tell if Electra had been forced into a situation or if she had been an accomplice. What he did know, though, was that Nikolay had a history of not letting his former flames slip away so easily. With mounting concern, Finn warned Steffi to tread carefully around Electra, fearing that any prying might inadvertently draw dangerous attention toward them. But Steffi was undeterred. She was determined to protect her family and make sure Electra wasn't bringing a threat to their doorstep. A ghost from the shadows. The next few weeks were tense for Electra. She'd been living in quiet fear, hoping her move to LA would let her disappear in plain sight. Yet, every time she let her guard down, she'd see subtle signs of Nicolet's influence creeping back into her life. Small things at first: a note left on her car, a lingering scent of the cologne he used to wear, a stranger in the crowd who resembled him. Paranoia took root, and she began to withdraw even further from her family, canceling meetings, working from secluded rooms, and avoiding social gatherings. Rich, however, wouldn't take no for an answer when it came to family gatherings. When he insisted she attend a family dinner, Electra showed up reluctantly, eyes darting to every corner of the restaurant. Midway through the meal, she excused herself and stepped outside to clear her head. There in the dim glow of the streetlights, she spotted him, a silhouette that sent chills down her spine. Nicolet. Her worst fears had come true. Electra ducked behind a pillar, her heart pounding. She quickly pulled her phone out, ready to call for help. But in that moment, Steffi and Finn emerged from the restaurant, looking for her. Electra grabbed Steffi's arm and whispered frantically, "You have to help me. He's here." Finn and Steffi were stunned as Electra pulled them aside and spilled everything she kept hidden. She explained how she'd met Nicolet, how he had swept her into a glamorous yet dangerous world, and how she'd barely escaped his clutches. It was through sheer determination and the help of an old friend that she'd managed to cut ties and find her way back to family. But she hadn't anticipated that Nicolet would find her here, in Los Angeles, or that he'd still hold her in his sinister grasp. An elaborate ruse and a desperate plan. Realizing the gravity of Electra's predicament, Steffi proposed a plan. They would create a public scandal that would make it seem like Electra had fallen out with the Forresters, forcing her to leave town and effectively disappear from Nicolet's radar. It was a risky move, but it was the only way to draw attention away from her. Electra agreed, and in the days that followed, a series of calculated incidents began to unfold at Forrester Creations. A leaked design was blamed on her, a spat with Ridge was manufactured, and public arguments were staged in full view of the press. Each event made it seem like Electra was quickly falling out of favor with her family, her reputation crumbling. The ruse worked. News spread that Electra had been blacklisted by the Forresters, and Nicolet, believing she was now alone and vulnerable, arranged a meeting to confront her. Electra knew it was her only chance to face him and end this once and for all. A dangerous showdown. On the night of the meeting, Electra arrived at a secluded spot where Nicolet awaited her. She was terrified but resolute. What Nicolet didn't know was that she wasn't alone. Finn and Ridge had followed close behind, ready to step in if needed. As she faced him, Electra managed to exude a calm confidence. She challenged him, revealing that she'd exposed his illegal activities to the authorities, leaving him with no choice but to leave the country. Nicolet's fury was evident, but the presence of Finn and Ridge, stepping out from the shadows, made him think twice about retaliating. Realizing he was outmaneuvered, Nicolet left, issuing a final warning before vanishing into the night. The Forresters rally around her. After the ordeal, Electra's secret was finally out in the open, but she was no longer alone. With her family by her side, she could finally breathe freely, knowing that the danger was, for the time being, behind her. Her future with the Forresters would come with challenges and the occasional haunting memory of her past, but she knew she had the strength and the support to face whatever came her way. The events of that harrowing night brought the Forrester family closer than ever, and Electra, once the mysterious newcomer, had solidified her place in their hearts. Together, they would build a new chapter for Forrester Creations, one that bore the resilience and strength of the family name, and the hard-earned freedom of Electra Forrester.